Here are the things buyers are thinking about right now. And it's not just, can I find the right home? It's more like, can I find the right home and still feel comfortable after I buy it? Because buyers have a lot on their minds. They're thinking about interest rates and inflation. They're thinking about what's happening overseas with Iran and how AI could affect their job or their industry. They're thinking about the cost of repairs, renovations, insurance, taxes, all the fun stuff that nobody puts on the real estate brochure. And honestly, it makes sense. When there's uncertainty in the world, people naturally ask more questions. What happens to gas prices? What happens to inflation? What happens to mortgage rates? Heck, what happens if the economy slows down? And those are fair questions. The situation with Iran matters because that part of the world can affect oil, shipping, energy prices, and the whole global economy. And when energy prices move around, it can influence inflation. And when rising inflation is part of the conversation, mortgage rates usually rise too. A lot of buyers may not bring it up directly when they're walking around a house, but it's part of a broader conversation. They're wondering, could my industry change? Should I be a little bit more conservative with my monthly payment? And that's really the point. It's not that buyers don't want to buy. A lot of them do. They're just being more thoughtful. And they're asking, can I afford this house? The down payment, the insurance, the repairs, and still have enough cushion if life gets a little bit more expensive? That's what the conversation right now is all about. And it's different from what we were seeing a few years ago. A few years ago, buyers were more willing to stretch because rates were low and they felt like prices were only going to go in one direction. Today, buyers are more careful. They're looking at the monthly payment. They're looking at gas prices, at the cost of groceries. They're looking at insurance. They're looking at the cost of fixing the roof, replacing the HVAC, updating the kitchen, dealing with the old sewer line. And then they're saying, okay, do I really want to take on a project right now? That's why condition matters so much. A house that needs work can absolutely still sell. But buyers are going to factor in that work into their price. They may ask for credits. They may want more information up front. Or they may choose the house that feels a little bit more move-in ready. Because buyers aren't just buying a house. They're buying confidence. They want to feel like the home makes sense financially and practically. And for sellers, this is important. You can't control what's happening overseas. You can't control oil prices or mortgage rates, and you can't control how quickly AI changes industries. But you can control how your home shows. You can control whether the obvious repairs are handled. You can control whether the price makes sense or not. And you can control whether buyers walk in and feel like, okay, this house has been cared for, because that matters. For buyers, my advice is not to panic. Do the math. Get fully underwritten if you can. Understand the payment, understand the repairs. Think through your job stability and make sure you have a cushion. Because uncertainty does not mean you should stop moving forward. It just means you should move forward with better information. The buyers who are successful in this market are not ignoring the headlines. They're just not letting the headlines make every decision for them. And here's the other thing. Even with all the headlines, smart buyers still understand that the biggest obstacle to buying their dream home is the lack of dream home inventory. So when that amazing Spanish home with city views hits the market, they go all in, not because they think it's a perfect time to buy, but because they know it could be months, heck, even years before another home like that comes up again. And that's the key. The situation with Iran matters because it can affect confidence, inflation, energy prices, and potentially interest rates. AI matters because it may affect how people think about job security and income stability. Repair costs matter because buyers don't want to buy a house and immediately take on a major project they weren't prepared for. But your personal numbers matter more. And to be clear, this is not every buyer. Some buyers are very confident right now. Some have stable jobs, strong savings, and they're actually seeing opportunities because there's less competition. But for the buyers who are feeling a little bit more cautious, this is usually why. So before you buy, Make sure the house works for your life, your budget, your situation, and your comfort level. And maybe be careful with the house that needs a new roof, new windows, a new kitchen, and just a little updating. Because we all know what a little updating means. It means bring your checkbook.